Hello, I'm Craig Stern of Pharma Pharmaceutical Consultants. Today I want to talk about averages, and the reason is that many people have asked me about it. In pharmacy contracts and PBM contracts and some health plan and third-party administrator contracts, there is language that gives a guarantee for how much you pay, whether it's for a brand drug or a generic drug, or mail or otherwise. And it all includes such things as aggregate averages, effective averages, and things like that. So the question is, what does that mean? What is going on here? In reality, in the math that I used to teach and when we used to deal with it in physics and the rest, there is no such thing as an effective average and aggregate average and all that. It's pure mathematical nonsense. However, these terms do exist within these contracts, and so therefore the life that they have and the life they lead and exist is contractual, not by mathematical definition. The real problem with it is what do they mean, so that the purchaser and the vendor, the PBM or health plan or TPA or otherwise, effectively know what that definition is and what it means. Furthermore, in that you want to know not only what it means but how it's calculated. And so the devil here is in the details. While most people look at the term sheet with how much they're going to pay, an AWP or average wholesale price discount or a WAC discount or whatever it is, on how much they're going to pay for brand or generic or other kind of drugs, the real issue is in the definitions. It's in the body of the agreement, of what you look at to see how was it defined, how is it going to be calculated. Furthermore, it's more than that, because the fundamental rationale for this, presumably, is that you have different contracts with different pharmacies, different chains. So you have one contract with chain A, another contract with chain B, and a third contract with chain C. So as a result of that, you don't always know, if you have a particular brand drug, how much you're really going to pay, or generic drug, how much you're going to pay, etc. And so these averages tend to presumably smooth that out and give you an opportunity that you've got an idea of how much you're actually going to pay so that you could compare. However, when you do that and you compare all of these, the typical way of doing that in math, even in the financial industry or in most other industries, is to do a weighted average. You do a weighted average because if you have 2 claims that you're paying with a very deep discount and you have 100 claims you're paying with not so much of a deep discount, when you average that, it really shows that you're paying more for the not very good discount versus only a few dollars for a very deep discount. That kind of weighted average is critical. It's used all across mathematics. It's well defined. It is used heavily in the financial industry and on Wall Street and in the stock market to ensure that people know how much they're paying, etc. It is not common, and it's not used very frequently in these contracts, and it is very difficult, therefore, to tell what, in fact, you're going to really pay. So my emphasis to you is that what you really need to be looking at is what's in the definitions, how is it defined, how am I going to, what's the formula that's going to be used, and how is it going to help me or hurt me. The other thing you need to do, certainly not the last, but the other thing you need to address is whether these guarantees, whether these averages are managing hard costs or soft costs. Hard costs are what you actually pay, how much you actually write a check for to pay for an invoice. Soft costs, on the other hand, have to do with numbers that have to deal with average wholesale prices that can be heavily inflated, perhaps WAC prices that are less inflated. What you really want to do is to make sure that the basis for all of the costs is more tied to the actual drug cost rather than what goes on with numbers that can be easily modified, inflated, or otherwise. When you look at how physicians are paid and programs that identify averages for them, it's based on what the actual cost is. When you look at a hospital, same way. Please consider, and always consider, look at the definitions and then look at whether the guarantee is working off of what you actually paid or on some other number that is harder to explain. I sincerely wish you a good day, and I look forward to speaking to you again.